Hi guys, welcome to Autotop.nl and welcome to this ring review of the Lotus Emira V6. As you can see, I have the car right here in front of me. A very pretty and very cool looking thing in my opinion. So this is one of the latest products from Lotus. So the Elise and the Exige, they basically stopped existing and they moved on to this product, which is called the Emira, and this is more aimed towards being a GT type of sports car. So today we're going to take it out on the track to see what it's capable of, but I'll tell you a little bit more about this car really short. Max already did a full-on review of this car, so you can check that out in the right top corner where you can see all the details on this car. So what is it? It's based again on an aluminum chassis, 3.5 liter V6 supercharged, so the same engine that came in the Exige and in the Exige V6 model. This car sits on Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires and it's a dual wishbone all around, so should be pretty planted. What else? This car has the sports package suspension, so there is a comfort and a sports package on these cars. There's no dynamic control on the shocks. The sports package suspension is including stiffer springs, different sway bars also, so that the car has a bit less roll. So overall a bit more of a track oriented setup. So yeah, not like I said before, no dynamic dampening in here or whatsoever, just simple plain shocks with springs and some anti-roll bars. So like I said, this car sits on the sports package and I'll show you really quick here the V6. So as you can see, a very pretty interior in my opinion, very different to what I'm used to from Lotus. So we have the manual, the square steering wheel in this case, which is funky, and they have a really nice infotainment with the digital cluster these days, which I quite like. And of course we have the V6 right here. So all that noise coming through, also because you have the intake here on this left side, so if you open up the window you really get that whine from the supercharger. And as you can see here on the interior, the new infotainment, we have the drive modes available, which is purely for engine and noise and also traction control. So Lotus has quite a sophisticated traction control system. They have a specific track mode, which makes the car specifically set up for track in the way the traction control handles. So really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna take you guys out on track and yeah, see what I think about this Emira V6. So guys, we are about to go out on track, and for the purpose of this lap in this video, we're gonna enter, actually, as you can see here, through turn 13. So not the regular exit, but the secondary one. And we're gonna put the car in a different drive mode. So as you can see here, we have the drive mode button, and we're gonna go to the sport setting, and then we have the track, which turns off partially the traction control and gives the ESC, so the stability control, basically in a dynamic mode. So let's go out and see what the car feels like. We just did a few warm-up laps to get a bit of an idea and understanding of how the car feels, and I will point you out a few things that we like, that we dislike, etc, etc. So as you can see here, the exit, make sure that you watch your mirror because faster cars will arrive. Use the outside properly and then we are clear to go. So the first thing that I really noticed with this car, which is a bit of an issue on track, is the seats. And you might be able to notice it during the driving. You just move around that bit too much for my liking personally. So that tells me that Lotus really tried to aim this towards being more of a GT car. The car is very neutral in the sense of its center of gravity. So obviously it's quite a low and sleek car. Oh, and listen to that. And you really feel that through the fast corners. But it also gives you a bit of a sense of insecurity, I think. You don't know where the limit is of the car. So sometimes I feel like that you can go really fast with this car, but then when it says enough is enough,
you're gonna be too late. And that feels a bit unnatural, I guess. The turning is super sharp, almost like a go-kart feel, I would say. Look, you can just, that's what it does. It's really snappy on the oversteer, that's actually the first time I experienced that, where it tries to rotate on you. Let's see through the foxhole, and also through the bumpy sections, you really feel that it's more, yeah, it really is more focused towards being a GT and less of the Lotus that I am used to. Because as you guys might know, I used to race Lotuses, specifically the Exige, quite a lot. I have quite a good amount of experience with that, and also with the Evora, which is a bit more comparable to this car. And what I really feel is that the weight is really yeah, a big factor here. This car weighs 1400 something kgs, and although the chassis is doing its job, for me personally, I really feel like the weight is, you know, battling against me a bit, which is not, I don't know, it's hard to, yeah, to tell you what it is that it's making it feel the way it does. But then again, there's also a lot of positives in the sense of balance of the chassis. The chassis is really, like I said before, you can really feel it working with you, and the whole experience, the whole dynamic of, you know, the manual gearbox in combination with the low center of gravity, it just feels, it feels supercar-esque, I would say. We have a faster car, so we're gonna let him pass here. Thank you. Again, guys, at the ring, always check your mirrors, very important. And that V6 also down low is a bit lazy. Oh, and we have a yellow, so we're gonna take it easy here. That V6 is a little lazy down low, but it really comes alive up top. Really, in the last 1500, 2000 revs, it really, you know, it really starts showing its potential, which I really like. So let's see. GT4 and a GT3. It's really through these longer hand turns where the car is super balanced. But then when we're talking about sections like these, where it's just a bit bumpy and it's a bit, I don't know, a little too rotation happy for my personal liking. And also the gearing is a problem, because you don't have that torque down low. You really need to keep it alive in the revs, and that makes it really makes it a workout to drive this car, because you really need to keep it high up there. If you're, let's say, below 4K, there's nobody is home, there's nothing, and you really want that power, because at the rig there is a lot of, you know, a lot of uphill sections where you need that torque, which the car just, yeah, it doesn't have it. And I can imagine that this car will come soon. I think it's already announced with an AMG power plant, so with the engine from an A45 AMG, and I think that really will help this car out. I think you're gonna have less weight. Also, the car will be cheaper, of course, but also balance wise, and especially torque wise, because that is just what I'm missing. That torque down low, yeah, it's just not there. I really have to keep the speed in the car, keep the momentum going. Also good to mention, the car sits on regular Cup 2s, so not a Cup 2R, just the regular street tire. And it's performing pretty well, but I would say that the weight on the front is making it overheat relatively quick. And these are the corners where the car really excels. Those longer turns where it's just super settled. But here, for example, we have the little bump in the corner, and that's where the car just feels, yeah, a little unnatural in my opinion, which is weird. I don't know if it's just geometry or, well, just an alignment in this case, or the setup of springs that they use. Because it can carry quite a lot of speed, but it's just hard for me to feel where, you know, where the edge, where the limit is of what the car is capable of doing. But the noise is something that is, there's no car, there's very few cars these days out there that make noise like this, and that supercharger whine, it's super cool. And that is the end of this lap. Lotus did a good job on the car in the sense of it being more a GT, but a hardcore GT, I would say. Is it a really good track car? No, not at the moment. It definitely needs seats. It just needs a few little bits to really make it work for track use. But aside from that, emotion wise, it is all there. So I think Lotus really did a really good job there when it comes to the whole overall feel, the emotion of the car, the sound of the car. I can see this thing being your almost daily driver or very close to it. So yeah, that's my conclusion of this car. I hope you guys enjoyed this ring review, and see you at the next one. Bye bye.